What I'm doing in this tutorial is I'm pulling handles off the piece of 1¼ pounds that is a larger mug, and I've pre-shaped these clay forms just by rolling out fresh clay out of the bag and pre-forming them, kind of in a cigar, and then I pound and shape them into this form. And then at the end, I'll go ahead and square that off with my thumb so I can go ahead and have a place to put this slip, which is the consistency almost of mortar. This is pretty thick. I don't need much, just a little bit. I locate my stamp, and then I'll put my handle right into the place where I want, knowing that I've got my stamp right there. So when people are using it, they'll stamp it and who made it. So the next step is basically to go ahead and spread the thicker part of that handle into the body of the mug. I do want to make sure that there's a relative consistency in moisture content between the mug and the handle. I do not want this to be at all dry. Sometimes it starts to change color, and that's bad. You don't want to be pulling a handle onto a piece that's drier on the rim. Then I use slip just to coat this. The outside has been coated with this slip that's about the consistency of thin pancake batter. Once it's coated, I never have to go back and grab any more moisture to pull that handle. It's all right there, and what isn't there is back in my hand and free, so I can come back in and add it should I need it. Although I do put some strap handles on my pieces, I really enjoy the hand pulled more so than the strap. I find them visually appealing, and I find them more comfortable in my hand. Once I get that done, you can see how sometimes you'll get a little bit out of oval in the top rim. Before you turn that upside down, you want to make sure you square that up. But look at the slip I have in my hand. I can just come back in and lay that down and smooth that right out. Reshape it. And we're done. Sometimes at the end of the rack, I've got a board full of handles that have already been put on. Sometimes this last one, since it's on the end, they tend to get a little bit drier because I can feel already that this one is a little stiffer. So I have to be mindful to get this done. Just a little bit of slip there. Locate my stamp. Press that in. You can see how stiff that is and how firm. That's important. You push clay around quite a bit. That allows me to go ahead and blend that clay piece, the attachment, right into the body of the mug, so it looks like it came right from it. It grew from it. Now that that's coated, I can start pulling. When you start pulling handles, this is awkward at first, but just move about the handle. Also, you want to keep that taper wider here, thinner here. Once you get that position, go ahead and strap that over. And since there's already this slip on the piece, I don't need any more additional slip to make that connection. I don't need to score. Scoring is a myth. That's like air bubbles in the clay. Air bubbles don't cause pots to explode. Clay is a hydrated aluminosilicate, so there is a chemically combined water molecule in clay, and it doesn't fully leave until about 800 Fahrenheit. But when you push that out fast, that's when it blows up. Okay, this will be the last one of the rack. Again, this is a little stiffer as it's on the end. But I really like the handmade, hand-pulled handles because they really come out and create this nice negative space inside between the body of the mug and the handle itself. To me, that's a pleasant form. You can see here, as this has been sitting on the wear board, it's got some sharp edges. Now, I won't deal with that now, but I will deal with it right before I put it on the wear board to dry, its final drying phase. This blending of the clay into the body is really what gives it that continuity between handle and body form. And with a little bit of slip, we're able to make that even more subtle. Seeing a handle stuck on a mug is not pleasing to me. Oftentimes, it doesn't make for a comfortable handle. The beauty of a handmade mug is that it should fit the human hand. Now, as I've been moving this slip around the connection, I'm able to lift that back into position, use the additional slip in my hand from the pulling process, and smooth out that rim, making sure that I maintain that oval. Nothing is worse when you open mugs out of the kiln and see an oval mug, unless it was intentional. So that is one rack. And these shows essentially three different sizes. This is a 1.25 pounds. This is just under a pound, and that's about 3/4 of a pound worth of wet clay. So when you're throwing, you get a sense of how large you can make a mug out of given amount of clay. That's an important thing to know in the studio as a potter.